We'll talk about transfers. We'll do the ones that you may have missed because a couple of players have left Manchester United, haven't they? Radek Vitek has now joined Middlesbrough. I think it was pretty clear that he was going to leave. In every interview that he did in pre-season, he was like, "Yeah, I'm going. As soon as they let me, I'm off. I want
With
out."
his suitcase. He had his case at
Yeah,
the side of him ready to go, didn't he? Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, he was pretty keen on getting out. Fair play to him. I know I said this before, but if he didn't have the stones for a challenge with Senna Lamans, then fair enough. Go and have a career elsewhere. So he's gone to Middlesbrough. 7 million, rising to
Mm.
14 if he hits everything. You know,
Mm. 7 and 7.
bit,
It feels like we could have got double that, doesn't it? Especially with Trafford, with the price that he's gone for, it feels a bit. Everyone's comparing it, aren't they? But yeah, it's a bit of another loan would have suited us as United fans, wouldn't it? And
yeah.
probably the club. But like you say, the kid's got ambitions to be a number one, and he probably wasn't going to get that Old Trafford. So yeah, fair play. But yeah, 30 million I think would have been a fair price, don't you?
I think, yeah, like north of 20 would have been a fair
Mm.
price, especially for a young goalkeeper that's probably going to be at your club for the next 10 years if things turn out well for him. So, fair play. He wanted to go. Carl Darlow in, Tom Heaton, who also doesn't he have a hamstring injury? Did he
He
get
got
injured?
injured, didn't he? Yeah, he pulled
Mm,
it. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Sprinting at that age can't be done.
No, definitely not. Anything over 25, you shouldn't be sprinting anymore. And I think it was Dermot Mee took over. We'll talk about the PSG game in a second, but yeah, he came on to make his debut for Manchester United. He did all right. He did well. The couple of goalkeepers have left in the last week or so. Altay Bayındır finally left the club. It was inevitable that he was going to leave. I still don't think it's the end of him at Manchester United because he's only gone to Celta Vigo on a loan. 4 million buy option. Ugh. €4 million buy option. So you're not even talking like 3 million for him there. Says a lot,
Don't
that, doesn't
care.
it?
Yeah, says a lot of where his performances and people have seen him all around Europe, haven't they? Who scouted that kid and brought him in?
True.
Yeah,
True.
you got to ask
Speaking of,
questions, haven't you?
you do have to ask questions. The one big question that I'm going to ask right now, though, is who's been scouting Lewis Page at Leicester City?
Mm.
18-year-old wonder kid. Didn't even know who he was. I'm sure, like every other Manchester United fan, we've had a look on YouTube, checked out his highlight reel, and like Ahmad said in the WhatsApp chat earlier, it's the new Jude Bellingham. So that's what we're getting at Manchester United. The new Jude Bellingham is Lewis Page. Thoughts on him?
Mm. It's a direction the club are looking at, isn't it? Looking at all these kids, it is exciting when they do. I know I put a bit of a downer on them going into the first team, and it's for the future and sell on and stuff. But when you see someone like that, you have to take notice. When I first watched him, I thought, because I was obviously the same, you like just a name pops up, and I thought, what position's that lad? Because he played on the right, and then he was in the middle, and then he was at left back, and then he were at centre half getting the ball off the keeper, and I thought, I don't even know what position he is. But then you could probably play them all when you're that good. He's What he's got is that ability as because he is a centre midfielder, a left-footed centre midfielder. He can drive with the ball. He can run with the ball from centre midfield. That's quite unusual. That's probably what makes him stand out. Looks tidy. Looks like he gets stuck in, involved. He's obviously highly thought of in the football world. So yeah, exciting. A
It
centre
could
midfielder that
be,
can run with the ball, Nathan, is very, very rare.
and it's something that Manchester United haven't had for quite a long time. I know Kobe Mainu can do that, actually. I'm contradicting myself with that. But he's more of I think Michael Carrick wanted him to be more of a player that was just knocking the ball around. Basically someone in his mould, that's what he wanted at the club. But there were a couple of moments last season when he would just dribble the ball and bounce off players, and he looked decent doing it, Kobe. So, let's see how that develops. The only difficulty with the Lewis Page one is obviously Arsenal are interested in him as well. So it could be that they end up signing Lewis Page. Did they
Oh,
get Jeremy
when he
Monga as well? Or was it City that got
yeah,
Jeremy Monga?
oh, he didn't come to United and all that. The thing is, there's a lot of kids leaving Arsenal to come to United, isn't there? So
Mm. There was
makes
an
you ask
interview
even more
with
questions.
there was an interview with Aidan Heaven's mother, who's also his agent. I think Stretford Paddock did it recently. I haven't watched it yet, but she's pretty open about talking about Aidan's career and where he is. And I think he was playing further forward. And per per Mertesacker said, no, he's a defender. So there's, I will obviously watch that interview, but I think that line itself, I'm fairly certain was in the Athletics article that they did on him about 2 years ago when he first joined. So I'll check it out, see how that does. The other player that we obviously need to talk about, who's also on the deal sheet as well, is Lewis Hall. There's been some talk that he has been training alone, but then when you dig into the details, I think it's the Manchester Evening News have been talking about this, trying to say, oh, he's trying to angle for a move like Isak did. But then you look at it and it's like Fabian Schär and there was another player as well, Lewis Smiley, I think. They're also training alone because they're injured and
Okay.
not back to full fitness. So unless all three of them are planning to leave the club soon, I don't think there's much you can read into that.
Mm.
But saying that, the one thing that you might be able to read something into is, and we talked about this off air before, the Anthony Robinson deal from Fulham, because he was linked to Manchester United, but he was also linked to Newcastle United last week, I think it was. And then it was like Manchester United, ITKs, they were all going, oh, look, they're getting the replacement for him. They're getting the replacement for Lewis Hall. Maybe there's movement on this. I still think it's something that's not going to be done. That Lewis Hall deal is just Newcastle are definitely not having that.
Oh, I don't. It's going to take the kid to hand in a transfer request into it, and I think United are probably waiting on that. And they've got other options lined up if that doesn't happen. I can see Lewis Hall just saying, "Look, I want out of here." If everybody else has gone, he's probably one of their best players now, isn't he? You think of everybody else that's gone out the door, and he's probably looking around thinking, "Look, if I can get a move to United, I'll do it." And he will have to hand in a transfer request, which also plays into Ineos's hands because then you get him a bit cheaper, don't you? Probably takes off what 20 million if he hands in a request. I don't want to be here anymore. 60 million, Ineos will
No
be in there.
chance. No chance.
Yeah, we'll see. It's an exciting one, honestly. But United are looking at left backs from
Yeah.
what we can get
And
from that. Yeah.
yeah, if it doesn't turn out to be Lewis Hall, which I still believe is going to be a difficult one to do. I don't think Newcastle United want to be seen to be selling any more star players. They're relegation fodder with the squad that they've currently got. And, a manager, young, exciting manager, which is great, but absolutely no experience of the Premier League whatsoever. So it could be a long old season for them. And selling off like assets such as Lewis Hall might not be the best thing for them to do. One of the things that I'd heard, like obviously, I work in sports journalism, but one of the things that I'd heard was that the Saudis that own Newcastle United spent a lot of the time at the World Cup in the US, but talking to potential, not just investors, but people to sell the club to. So they was looking at people that they could potentially sell the club to because I think they want out. There's a lot of their big projects, they were very costly, and I think part of that has come to an end now. They're not investing as heavily into all of these sports projects as they were doing before. But without Lewis Hall, that's probably not as an attractive proposition to buy Newcastle United, is it? Bruno Guimaraes has gone. Gordon,
Yeah.
you know,
Isaac. Yeah,
Isak.
Tonali. It's a lot. It's a lot of players to go. But once one of them
Yeah.
goes, the rest of them will start looking around, going, "No, I'm
Yeah.
going as well." I think it'll play into the hand. The other thing is, if like you said there, if they do get relegated, you're only going to get 25, 30 million for them, aren't you? You're going to be losing a lot of
Well,
money. So
I mean,
do you
we look at
well,
Matheus Fernandes getting relegated with West Ham and then suddenly turning up 80 odd million for Spurs. So I don't think you can I don't think you can rule that out, getting a big money for him. But the other ones you rightly said there, Manchester United have been linked to other players. Georgie Salinas from Racing Santander, 19-year-old, 16 million euro release clause, which is what, about 12 million quid release
no
clause for
money.
him. He also has I do believe George Mendes is his agent. So Manchester United have plenty of experience of dealing with him and giving him his 20% cut. So that might be one to look out for as well. And then there's David Raum, or Ram
Round.
from
I'll go with round.
yeah. Did he play for Germany at the World Cup? He's German international, right?
I don't know if he did actually. Didn't watch a lot of the Germans. He's a
It's a madness one though, isn't it? Because these two players, me and you know nothing about them, and we haven't checked on YouTube to see what they're like. But from the reports that I read, David Raum um, with the way that he can whip the ball in is apparently going to be beneficial to someone like Benjamin Sesko, who is still not
Yeah, yeah,
returned from injury. So
yeah, which is worrying. Yeah, it's the David Round one. I've seen a bit more of him than I have of the Salinas lad, and that makes you question the other one where what's happened to all the other kids that we've got at left back. You know, if you're looking at another Spanish kid at 16 million, do we just write off the other lads that are there? The Round one comes in, a lot more experience at the top level, played at a higher standard. His assists are outstanding. His stats going forward are outstanding. You watch a lot of clips and not a lot of it's defending actually. Most of
yeah,
it's whipping a ball, getting the ball out of his feet, whipping it in, or free kicks, corners. He's an attacking fullback, and he likes to cross the ball and can create chances, create goals, which is something we've missed at fullback. I think the quality there. Luke Shaw's not got the legs to get up and down, as we know. And that's something that the club will be looking at. I think it's more so the price, isn't it? If you're getting spoken of 60, 70 million for these players, Anthony Robinson, I believe they were looking at 40 million. And then you can go and get this lad who's played, he's got better stats than all of them. Apparently on the the stats, the diagrams and everything like
yeah.
that, David Ram's miles ahead of everybody at fullback. So that's why the club are looking there. And that's we know they're looking at that, and they're looking at the stats, they're looking at standouts, anomalies, if you like. And he is one
Yeah.
of the tricky one is he's 28-year-old.
Mm,
I know, and we mentioned this off air, and you straight away pulled your face, didn't you? 28, you're paying, I think it's 26 million, 28 million around that price. Will he come in and start? Is he going to be on the bench as backup for Luke Shaw? It's a questionable one, and I don't know, but an attacking fullback who don't like an attacking fullback, love him.
I mean, I'll take it. If Luke Shaw is going to be moved to centre back, which could happen this season,
It's an option.
as a makeshift centre back, then yeah, you got to take it. But yeah, left back has become one of those weird positions where, and I maintain this, it still seems like it's man for man the strongest position that we currently have at the club, but. For whatever reason, and obviously the coaches see these players day in, day out, they know more than what we do. But they've been looking at these players and going, well, none of them are good enough. None of them can play in that position. Harry Amas, again, we move on swiftly to the possible outs. Harry Amas is still there on the Athletic deal sheet, potentially leaving for 6 million quid. However, that stance has softened. So I'm imagining Manchester United have contacted certain press and certain journalists just to feed him a bit more of a line, saying that they would prefer a loan. So to give him some more experience, I would prefer to see him loaned to someone in the Premier League. I'd like to see if he can do it in the Premier League because he spent he spent a lot of last season at the bottom half of the Championship, didn't he, with Sheffield Wednesday?
Mm.
So yeah, it would be interesting to see what would happen. 6 million for me still irks. I don't think it's nearly enough. Again, the other person that we was talking about as well was Toby Collier. Those two seem to be the pair that Manchester United are hawking around at the moment. I don't think did he play at the weekend against PSG?
Yeah,
Did he play any
came on,
minutes?
yeah. Yeah, came on
Okay.
at the weekend, I believe.
I guess it
Yeah,
keeps
it's
him in the shop window. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, even like a mass coming on, and they're getting minutes. These lads, aren't they? And you're like, well, why are you ushering them out the door? It just seems a bit strange. Like, but you know, 6 million is not going to make any difference, really, is it, to your finances? It's a bit of a strange one, and if they get him in, like you say, he lit up the championship when he was there. The glowing reports he was getting coming back,
Mm.
and we were all like, brilliant. Come back next year, and then you can be back up to Luke Shaw. It's felt like a natural progression
Yeah.
that the way it should do. And then I know he got a bit of a knock, and then the club's come out and say he's up for sale. It's strange. Yeah.
It is a very strange one. Two other players that they're talking about potentially leaving further up the pitch this time. Joshua Zirkzee still in talks with Juventus, apparently, with a loan for obligation to buy. We've seen how those obligation to buys work with a certain Marcus Rashford. They're not worth the paper they're written on. So, are we going to get rid of him for a season? But then are we going to be able to bring anyone in because we're still potentially carrying his wages and him next season? So that's a weird one. And then Ethan Wheatley still being linked to Everton, apparently. So who knows what's going to happen? The big question I was going to ask you at the end of this, and we've gone through all of the potential players there, ins and outs. Do you think Manchester United will sign any more players this summer?
I'm hanging on to a hope that they do because there's still, like I've said for ages, there's still 3 or 4 positions we need. The silence around the club and everywhere is worrying, but that seems to be the way they work. Nobody seems to know anything, do they? And then all of a sudden they pop a little Tielemans from nowhere with a bargain clause. So, got to trust in the club, got to trust in the people that are making these decisions, trust the manager that he knows what he wants. There are rumours of certain Adam Walton I've just seen resurface.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
players like that do make if United can go and get Wharton, Lewis Hall, and a backup striker, then you all of a sudden going, well, that's a really good transfer window. But I think you're probably on about 10% chance of that happening. So,
I mean, even less than that. I was ready to reach into the camera to wake you up then because I think you'd fallen asleep and was dreaming. But because Adam Wharton, Lewis Hall, not a chance. Couldn't even buy the shoes off one of them with our finances at the moment. But there's but the other one as well was that I saw Nathan Salt from the Daily Mail, who's on the Manchester United beat. He was saying that Yuri Tillemans is being likened to the signing of the summer. And when you start to read things like that, because obviously he's been fed this line from somewhere, when you start to read lines like that, it's like, yeah, our business is done. Manchester United's
politics.
business in this transfer window is done.